Let's make nighttime suck a little less. So I'm gonna bring you over to my bed so I can show you how I do my sheets at night and make nighttime just a little bit more comfortable. So hi, here's my bed. This is how I make my bed at night so that I can be clean and not disgusting. So I make a little sheet sandwich for myself. So this is my top sheet, you can see, and then I've got my bottom sheet underneath here, so the little elastic one. So that's the bread in my sheet sandwich. And then in between, I'm doing hand motions like you guys can see. Those two layers, I have twin sheets. So you can see over here, I've got this tucked in halfway. So I have that laying over the edge here, just nice and flat. Then I've got another layer here on the top to protect me from the top sheet. And this is just nice and cottony soft. And then I had a bunch of facial oozing. So this is another twin sheet that is folded in half and then folded in half again, the hamburger and hot dog way. And then just wrap this around here. And then you can either, for me, I like to sleep with my arm underneath my pillow. So I put the crease on top so that I'm not shoving my hand like in here and undoing it at night because that drives me crazy. But if you don't sleep with your arm underneath your pillow, you can just flip it over like this, and it's a nice absorbent layer that you can just take off the next day and throw in the wash. So I have a whole basket here of twin sheets. These used to be different colors, but I bleach them every day after I'm done taking a sleep. So you can see I've got a lot of twin sheets. And back when I was at my Uzia, so literally for an entire year, I've got my thing of twin sheets next to me. I would use this as a like kind of wetness pad for myself. So you can unravel it as many times as you want, but I would just sleep on a pad like this because I was so wet. It wasn't just ooze. It was, some people call it night sweats. Maybe it is night sweats. I don't know for sure. But here anyway is what I would soak through. And then after I would get this totally wet, I would just wrap it up and throw it off my bed and grab another one out of my handy dandy sheet thing. So when I woke up in the morning, I'd have a pile of dirty sheets next to me, and then my support team or I can wash those the next day, or like I would wait for a couple pairs of buildup so that I'm doing a little bit less laundry, even though I'd be doing multiple loads every day. So highly recommend the sheet as a wetness pad in between like your sandwich for you to be on. That was really, really helpful for me because I was just shedding so profusely, and I had night sweats, whatever those are, every night it was slightly over a year. It was probably like a year and 3 months or so until I didn't need that anymore. But I had tried like incontinence pads that you can like get for kids who wet the bed that has kind of like a tarp layer on the bottom and then like a cottony layer on top. And that did a good job of containing the moisture, but then I would just be sleeping on this wet piece of plastic at night, and then it was crinkly, and then I washed it enough as well that the cotton on the top kind of shrunk up, but the tarp on the bottom didn't, so it was wrinkly. So I would just recommend doing a bunch of twin sets of sheets, and swapping them out every day. And the cotton gets softer with every wash, so it's like, obviously it's never nice to have anything touching your skin, but it felt comforting and cozy to have some nice cotton to slip into every day. And then if you're sleeping with somebody, then you can just change your normal bed sheets, the bread on the sandwich, every week, or however I like to change mine every week. Then you're just doing a little bit less laundry, and you don't have to deal with like all the stretchy stuff, and you can still sleep with your significant other without making the entire bed like a dead skin paradise. It's nice to kind of contain that in your own sheets and then just toss it out the next day. Other thing I really enjoyed were hot water bottles. So this was really early on for anybody who is just preparing now to like start TSW, or is in some of the beginning months when you have all kinds of horrible temperature regulation issues. Like I was so cold for so long where like my body was just in like a constant like fetal position all the time. I couldn't like uncurl myself. So I really liked having my bed pre-warmed for me, either with a heating pad, you can put that in there, or if you have a heated blanket, turn that on to like a preheat, or if you don't have that, grab a hot water bottle, and I would just sleep with a hot water bottle all night too. Just making the bed warmer and more inviting when I was just so cold all the time was great. So if you have a heated blanket, I slept with a heated blanket and a hot water bottle, and when I really didn't have skin at all, I had a space heater that I put next to my bed. So you can either get like one of the little floor ones and put it next to your bed, or I put it on my nightstand as well. So it was kind of pointing a little bit towards me-ish, but not enough to actually like blow on me, because that wasn't nice at all, but just to kind of warm the air around me. So most people have a harder time with heat than they do with cold, but I was going through TSW in the middle of winter with my worst months and was so cold. A symptom for pretty much any drug withdrawal is insomnia. So it isn't just topical steroid withdrawal that you go through horrible insomnia. It's pretty much every drug withdrawal known to man. So take comfort in knowing that that's super normal, and it is so horrible, so horrible not being able to fall asleep and getting like 2 hours of sleep a night if you're lucky, and just staying awake and being itchy and in pain and all of that terrible stuff. So try and medicate yourself as much as you can before you have to go to sleep. Recommendations in the description box below. The most common sleep aid is diphenhydramine, which is also known as Benadryl, but that's what you're going to find in like NyQuil or ZQuil, or pretty much any over-the-counter sleep aid is probably going to be diphenhydramine. I have a bunch of histamine intolerance issues, so I wasn't able to rely on that super heavily because I really wanted my diphenhydramine to work when I was having an allergic reaction and not just get a tolerance to it as I was using it to try and fall asleep. Unisom is also helpful. I forget what the generic is, but I'll put that in the description. That was really helpful for me to be able to fall asleep. And then if you're in a country that sells it, Sindol I actually found was super helpful. That has the active ingredient of Unisom in it and also has codeine in it too. So I would just recommend, if you are in pain and are scratchy before you sleep, make sure that you're taking enough pain medicine, because I realized that was really helpful for me. If obviously you're thinking, if I am asleep, why am I wasting good pain medication? But if you're in pain and raw and super uncomfortable, you're not going to be able to get to sleep. So that was my biggest top tip. Make sure that you have pain medication in your system, and then also work on some kind of prescription sleep aid if you need to. Atarax is a prescription sleep aid that is another antihistamine, but it's obviously you have to get a prescription for it, but that will knock you out. So that is also a possibility. You can ask your doctor about that and see if you can get a prescription for that. Melatonin is mildly helpful. I found a few different melatonin sleep aids that I liked. I'll put those in the description below. Once again, it's not a melatonin issue of why you can't get to sleep. It's a drug withdrawal symptom. So I wouldn't like mess with your body too much with melatonin, but it was slightly helpful for me. Any herbal aids really did nothing for me. Homeopathic stuff really did nothing for me. Some meditation techniques actually did end up helping a fair amount. Even if it didn't help get me to sleep, it helped me like not completely lose my mind at night when I was so tired and exhausted and going through mental torture. So I would recommend like looking for some kind of like sleeping restorative nighttime sort of meditation to do, to at least just quiet your mind down when you are losing it being in bed for 5 hours straight. I also really enjoy listening to like audiobooks and sermons and different people with nice voices read things that were calming and uplifting and spiritually nourishing for me at nighttime too. So I figure if you're awake, you might as well be getting some kind of encouragement and uplifting content in while you can. Once again, all of these things are marginally going to help, but my itch attack crisis mode position that I talked about in my itch attack video, also link down below. I'll link to that section in the video so that you can see. Now just go into my crisis mode, and I would either just try and pray or just try and kind of like zone out or try some kind of meditation or something and just get in a different position. Sometimes on the floor is nice, so maybe that'll help getting out of bed. So that's something. And then, yeah, just trying to take the focus off of yourself and your own suffering. So I would try and remember like people that I could pray for, and just if you're not religious, then you can even just think about all the other people in the world who have problems and are going through something too, just to put your own suffering in perspective, that there are other people too besides you that are awake in the world right now and are also having problems. So that can be its own kind of comfort too, knowing that even if it feels like you're the only person in the world who is not getting any sleep and who is awake, that there's somebody out there too. So there's some other kind of TSW person. So if you can like comment on different people's posts online, I would recommend like trying to keep screen time lower. But you know what? Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do to make it through the terrible withdrawal time, because it is a drug withdrawal symptom. I'm going to say that again, because there is no onus on you for doing anything wrong. It's just a symptom you unfortunately have to ride out. And I think it's really the hardest one, aside from the oozing and the pain. It's just the insomnia is so bad. And in the military, they mess with people's sleep rhythms to get them to crack under pressure, and they use it as a form of torture. So I'm just letting you know that it's okay to be really baffled and struggling with the sleep thing, because it's so hard, but it does end, and I am able to sleep through the night pretty well now, and your sleep does come back, and you'll realize how much stronger you are than you ever thought that you could be. So, and just remember that sleep really affects your mood as well. So during the first year/6 months, just be really patient with yourself. And when you are feeling really emotional, try and keep it in perspective and be like, you know what? I am just really overtired. I've gotten 2 hours of sleep this week and I'm just melting down. So if you can sleep during the day, just sleep whenever you can and don't feel guilty about it either. You're not like ruining your circadian rhythms or something. It's a drug withdrawal thing. So if scents don't irritate you, you can try some essential oils at night that in like a little diffuser. That could be nice. And then there's always 5-7-8 breathing, which is supposed to kind of reset your vagus nerve, which once again is marginally helpful for this drug withdrawal symptom that you're going through, but it's in for 5, hold for 7, and then out for 8. So it's in through your nose and then holding and then out through your mouth. So that can kind of reset your vagus nerve. And at least for me, like I would just start melting down and losing it after being in bed for 5 hours and not sleeping. And if I could even just not go to sleep, but just calm myself down so that I'm not completely losing it anymore, that would be helpful. So I recommend 5-7-8 breathing as well if you haven't heard of that or tried it before. So that is it for me. Let me know if you guys have any sleep tips that you want to share with the rest of the community in the comments. Sleeping is so hard on TSW, so I just want to encourage you guys to hang in there, and like that you are not a wuss for struggling with sleeping and having it really affect your day-to-day life. So try and master self-soothing techniques for the torture chamber of your bedroom sometimes. And yeah, let us know on here if there's anything that you have done that you think is really helpful or moderately helpful. And yeah, best wishes to everyone out there. Sleep sucks, but if there's anything you can do to even help a little bit, I think that's a big win. So